What's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Great League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing Shadow Pidgeot in the Great League Catch Cup. This Pokemon and this team got me all the way up to 3,320 ELO I believe. Shadow Pidgeot is exceptionally strong, it does an absolute ton of damage, and as you've seen in the first game here, we catch the Weather Ball. I think the opponent had no answer to Reggie in the team, and I find that to be the case quite often. A lot of teams in Catch Cup are running Mandibuzz, Mantine, water types. Of course you're going to have Wigglytuff and Charm and all that kind of nonsense as well. So there are quite a lot of teams that are just weak to Steel in general. We go straight for the Brave Bird and the Mandibuzz. As you can see, they're already approaching 25% health after that Brave Bird. The damage output from this Pokemon is wild. The opponent comes in here to a Charizard, so they have a Flyer in the lead, Flyer in the back. The one thing I was kind of afraid of here is that they might have an Annihilate in the back. The opponent here is probably going to go for a Blast Burn. We end up letting it go. I thought I would survive the move, but unfortunately my IVs are 10, 15, 14. This Registeel is the one that I'm going to build for Ultra League, and that's pretty much what I recommend doing for Catch Cup. If you have any Pokemon that you're going to build for Ultra League, build them for Catch Cup first, whether it be something like a Registeel, a Trevenant, or if you just have Pokemon with good IVs that you want to build, you might as well just build some good IV Pokemon, because to be honest with you, Catch Cup can be absolutely miserable if you're trying to run Spice. You will find that in this cup, everybody's going to be running hardcore meta teams, trying to push leaderboards, trying to hit Legend of course if you're still pushing for Legend. If you're looking to play this week, I think you have to build some Pokemon. Even if you have to build the same Pokemon twice, invest the 30, 40, 50k dust into Annihilate. Do whatever you need to do, bro. Niantic insists on bringing this stupid format back, so you're going to have to sort of play it out a little bit. If you want to play Go Battle League this week, you pretty much have to build some new Pokemon, or hopefully you've already built some Pokemon. I do highly recommend building Shadow Pidgeot, and that's a Pokemon of course which is new this season. Unfortunately this season, there hasn't been a lot of new interesting Pokemon. All of the calm days have not been meta-relevant Pokemon, and I think the only new Pokemon we've had in spawns this season has been Wiglet, which I mean, let's be honest, it's not really the most exciting thing in the world. But anyway guys, finishing off the game here, we get off the Ice Sponge and Mantine, and that's good games. The opponent was running a triple Flyer team, and in the Catch Cup, like, you can sort of get away with stuff like that. In this next matchup here, we have Pidgeot versus Mantine. We have two answers in the back, so we can look to stay in and try to catch a move. And the opponent actually goes for a catch of their own and Stinky Binky, and in comes Registeel. This is an extremely dominant matchup for Registeel, so I'll take a minute here to say what's up to everybody. Big thank you to everybody who's been tuning into the videos. Big welcome to everybody who's a new sub on the channel quite recently. And yeah, hope you're all having a great day here. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Catch Cup down below. The opponent quits, and that's going to be good games. We ended up going 5-0 in this first set, so I just wanted to show basically all of the battles. In the next one we have Alolan Muck, quite an interesting pick. Guys, one thing with Pidgeot, if you're playing high ELO players, there's no point messing about. I think that was the CMP time. We're going straight for the Brave Bird. The opponent does not respect it. And at this point, they're in absolute shambles. In comes Pidgeot, and they top left. This exact thing happened so many times. I Brave Bird the lead, and then they just top left. It was kind of crazy. In the next match here, we have a very good lead. In comes Swallow here. Now, the opponent's pacing is a little bit better than I thought it was. I thought it would take them to 7 to get to the first move. They get to a Sludge Bomb. I'm going to overfarm a little bit here. I think I do 4 or 5 and throw. We're building up to basically back-to-back Brave Birds. Does the opponent respect this damage? No, they do not. Goodbye. And back in comes the Hackmo. Now, I should be able to get the shield back pretty easily. It's a Pidgeot, and we come into Registeel. The reason I come into Registeel here is because I'm seeing already 2 Pokemon weak to Sandslash, so I'm thinking this whole team might be weak to Sandslash, and also I haven't seen a good answer to Pidgeot yet. I'm using Powder Snow and Sandslash. I think we haven't even seen it yet. I'm using Powder Snow, but I don't want to shield up a Brick Break. Of course, it's double super effective damage. So yeah, I debuff myself. I want to hold on to my Pidgeot, of course, and in comes a Jellicent in the back. Another Pokemon that's pretty weak to Pidgeot, and pretty weak to Registeel. Bang, we go for Zap Cannon. And, you know, you can shield the Zap Cannon, but you cannot shield everything. In comes Shadow Pidgeot. We can comfortably tank a Surf. Hopefully the opponent's not on Ice Beam. They're not. They're on Surf. Nobody's on Ice Beam. We're going to shield up the next Surf, and this should be pretty much curtains for the opponent. We're going to look to get this move off straight away. Actually, I think we go for a CMP tie here on free. Throw off the Brave Bird. Will this KO the Jellicent? I mean, of course it will. It's Shadow Pidgeot. Back in comes Hackmo. They can look to go for a Brick Break. I don't think they even make it, and that's good games for the first set. So in fairness, some pretty easy leads. I had a Bombasnow lead and a couple of tricky leads in that set like Mandibuzz, but Pidgeot just done so much damage. It forces shields or forces heavy damage, and a lot of these teams just didn't have a good answer to my backline. Now hopping into the next battle here, Pidgeot versus Steelix. A pretty negative lead. We're coming into Registeel. Now the opponent's actually staying in against the Reggie. They're going for Psychic Fangs. I'm super happy with this. They basically give me 11 free lock-ons to whoever wants to come in. I'm going to overfarm, go straight for Focus Blast. I'm not going to beat a double resisted Zap Cannon here. The opponent shields it naturally enough. And I'm thinking, like, why are you staying in here, bro? Should I actually consider shielding this Pokemon? Breaking Swipe, they're going to try to debuff my attack. I think they successfully do so. They go for a swap into Tapu Fini. Unfortunately for them, we do not fall for it. The opponent realizes we didn't fall for it, and we get the Zap Cannon off. I'm going to shield here to get off another Zap Cannon, and I think at this point, see, it's kind of unfortunate. I don't want to switch lock myself against the Steelix, but I don't really have a great option. The opponent's already shown that they're super weak to Reggie. I probably could let them just take me out here. Oh, that's what I do decide to do, let them take me out, so I'm not switch locked. We're going to come in, go for a one wing attack, and then look to aggro swap into Sandslash. I think that was a good play, because if the opponent locks in against the Pidgeot, they're basically getting what they want. So of course we're going to play this match out. Sandslash versus Steelix, pretty good match for Sandslash, especially because the opponent's in Breaking Swipe. In comes a Whimsicott, not exactly the greatest answer to Sandslash either. They have debuffed my attack twice in a row here, so they do live that move, that's perfectly fine. This move is going to hit more than a Breaking Swipe or Psychic Fangs, so we just shield that move. Pretty easy here. Whenever you know all of your opponent's final Pokemon, you can actually just decide which move is going to hit harder. So it's a good idea to shield up the hardest hitting move if you know what it's going to be. I could let the Moonblast go and then start shielding Breaking Swipes. Wouldn't really make a lot of sense. In the next battle here, the opponent meets my safe swap with Trevenant. Like a silly sausage here. Like a silly sausage, I done for my move straight away. I was trying to commit to good timing there, and we're going to look to go for a Zap Cannon. Now, I decided here that I want to get some extra farm with Pidgeot. That was basically my thinking here. I'm not going to take Switchback off the Trevenant. I'm going to let this go. The opponent froze immediately. We go for a Seed Bomb, and we're going to look to come in for a farm down with Pidgeot. I could come for a Sandslash farm. I don't want to show them my final Pokemon here, and we're going to look to try to farm this the whole way down. Unfortunately, the opponent makes it to a move. They go for a Shadow Ball. I think Seed Bomb would have done more damage, and back in comes Skarmory. Now, Shadow Pidgeot hits like an absolute truck, so the opponent lets that go and it does like 50% of their health. In comes Sableye, and this can be very, very close. The opponent's behind by a couple of Shadow Claws. We need 2 moves to KO this thing anyway. Maybe if I suspected that the opponent would let the move go, I could have went for Drill Run and committed to the farm down. But basically that's what we're doing here. We're shielding up at pretty much everything. We're going to go for Ice Punches here, try to basically get all the shields off the opponent. And I think at this point, we shield once, farm it the whole way down, and look to try to get off 2 Ice Punches or something on the other Pokemon. We're going to look to throw this off here. The opponent will be getting to Scat Tag or Brave Bird quite soon. We get off this move. I'm going to try to commit to it. The opponent is over farming as much as possible here. We are in a bit of a tricky spot though. We're on 1 HP. The opponent lives on 1 HP as well. And yeah, good games to the opponent. Super close loss right there. It came down to 1 HP. The opponent Brave Birds the Pidgeot for good measure. I got a taste of my own medicine there, so good games to the opponent. And hopping in the next one, we have a Poliwrath lead, very good lead here. A much better lead than, of course, the other thing we've seen. I'm going to build up to 7. You win this match pretty comfortably with Pidgeot, even though they have super effective Icy Wind, and even though the counters are neutral. We're doing super effective damage. We're keeping up health, basically, here. And in comes a Mantine. I take this as a great opportunity to go for a bit of an overfarm, and we're going to come into Registeel. Now, I want you guys to pay a little bit of attention to this matchup here. This is worth keeping in mind. So I chipped a little bit with the wing attacks, but if I go for like just below a nice, it didn't work on that occasion. But if you like Zero Bubble Lad, you can get a farm down. The opponent comes back in with Poly, they throw their energy pretty quickly here. I'm very happy with that, because we don't have a debuff from Pidgeot anymore. I can easily make it to 2 moves. We build up to 2, fire the first one off, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do. They actually let the move go, and in comes a Flygon in the back. Does Flygon respect it? Ladies and gents, no they do not. Bang, goodbye. What a cool Pokemon. Get off my screen though. The Flygon got off my screen, and in the next one we do have a Mandibles. We're going to look to go for the same tactic. We have 2 answers to this, but like, why would I not Brave Bird? Chat, whenever you can Brave Bird, just send it. Full send it, bang. They're not going to shield their Mandibles, bro. Full send the Brave Bird, get the heavy damage for him, which means like I can Powder Snow it down later on. I'm not trying to beat this with Registeel, I'm trying to basically realign later on. In comes Crocalor. We can guarantee a shield off this thing. The Incinerates don't do too much damage, but they actually don't shield. So they're going to have to further energy. This is perfectly fine by me. This means I get a massive farm down with Pidgeot. I can't exactly come into Sandslash here, so it's really good that we're drawing this out. Of course we go for Brave Bird, we dip, we get the damage. I decide to shield up the Crunch, hoping for no debuff. We do not get it, and we farm it the whole way down perfectly. Back in comes, a Frostlass, very, very cool pick here. I'm going to go straight for an Aurelius. Of course, I could go for Brave Bird. The opponent might try to call this move. We're going to try to catch the Avalanche, unfortunately. The opponent doesn't fall for it. Yep, they go straight for Shadow Ball. I think there's no reason for them to beat in that situation. I'm expecting them to go for a catch here. They don't make it. And we do go for a Drill Run eventually here. I'm not too sure if I do live a Brave Bird or not. I'm still expecting the catch. The opponent still has a man for 1. And we'll see what they want to do here. Avalanche coming in. I'm not too sure why they would do that, to be fair. They're coming in to go for a Wombo combo, trying to hold on to some energy. They go for an Aurelius here. And yeah, I get what the opponent was trying to do. They were trying to swap out, trying to keep energy because they need to manage a couple of different Pokemon, but they just should have went for Shadow Ball and they might have had a better chance. In the next one, you've seen it once, you've seen it 100 times. We're going to Brave Bird the Mandaboss. Do they respect it? No, they do not. And already, that Mandaboss is looking pretty toasted. Speaking of which, in comes the Crocodile to melt down the tin can. We do get off a Zap Cannon. This does not threaten a knockout, but it does a lot of damage. The opponent realizes it, and they decide, you know what, I've let a Brave Bird go at this point. I kind of need to keep some health in some of these Pokemon. I'm pretty satisfied with this, or so I thought. I shield up the move. This Pokemon is a big issue for my team, so if I can get both shields off the opponent, get a debuff, and try to make this manageable for Pidgeot, I think that's my best case scenario. Now, unfortunately, as a result, the opponent gets a farm down, but they have no shields remaining. I can easily tank a Disarming Voice, or 2 even at this point. I may have gotten 2 debuffs there, so that's pretty good. We're going to look to basically, I think, go for an Aurelius. Maybe I should go for Brave Bird here. Let's have a look to see what I decide to do. The opponent comes into Mandaboss. Unfortunately, I do get a CMP tie, but that gives me a unique opportunity here to take out this, and with Sandslash, I can basically commit to a farm down. Sandslash with the super effective Drill Run will of course be able to one-shot, and we can hopefully try to take care of whatever's in the back. I have to commit to this farm down. The opponent makes it to another move. Is it a Dark Pulse or is it an Aurelius? They go for Aurelius, so we still have a chance here. We farm it down. We're going to go for 1 and Fro on the Crocodile to make sure that we don't take any damage from the move. And in comes a Torterra. They're going to Razor Leaf the life out of me. I just have so much energy. I do an extra couple just to make sure here. I take it out and we look to go for 1 and Fro on the Crocodile. Very good games there. Very, very close at the end. The opponent made a very nice snipe, but it gave me an opportunity to overfarm, and a very close matchup in the end. Good games to that opponent there. Hopping into the next battle here, we have Shadow Pidgeot versus Shadow Dragonite. Now, I have 2 answers in the back, but once again, like, you can take shields off Dragonite. You go straight for the Ace. This will probably not one-shot, but more or less one-shot them. We come into the Registeel, and look to basically start going for Zap Cannons. Now, foolishly enough, I go for a shield here. I thought they might go for a Superpower and Dip, but the opponent's baiting me, which I found was quite interesting. So at this point, I'm like, okay, Superpower me, big boy. They go for another Dragon Claw. So I'm like, right, okay, so you really don't like Registeel, huh? If you're double baiting, I actually thought at this point that they might just have 1 move on this Pokemon. I'm thinking they're weak to Reggie, they're trying to get my shield, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to let this move go. By this point, we can come in with Sandslash, in comes Skarmory. We go for an Ice Punch immediately. So we're ABI Flyer here. I'm thinking might be something weak to Pidgeot in the back. We have 2 Flyers here. Typically you have this with like a Fighter or something like that. So we're going to overfarm as much as we can possibly here. Go for an Ice Punch. This will look to take out the Skarmory. This matchup between Skarmory and Slash is extremely close because of Steel Wing, and we'll see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent's not thinking long and hard. They come into a Tentacruel. Now, I go for this move immediately because the opponent's switch clock is not yet up. That almost takes them out. We come into Pidgeot. The opponent comes into Dragonite. We commit to the farm down, and that's going to be good games well played. We go straight for the move here, and yeah, that's curtains for them. So on that team once again, we just did not have an amazing answer to Registeel. Good games well played there, and let's hop into the next battle. In the next one, we have Skeletor's lead. Again, this is like a tricky Pokemon for my whole team. If we see this in the lead, we just have to stand against it. The one great thing about this lead is you sort of think like, okay, Skeletor's lead. There's nothing worse for the backline than this. It's not going to be ABA Fire, so like we should be okay. Of course, the opponent will start firing off Disarming Voices. We're going to 2 and Fro for good timing here. We need to optimize our fast moves as much as possible here against Skeletor. And yeah, we're going to like to go for the next one. Committing to the 4 and Fro here. If you live in Incinerate, you can always do an extra 2 wing attacks. They're left on 1 HP. I'm trying to snipe them on 1 HP with Reggie. Unfortunately, they must have been on 2 HP. Shadow Ball coming through. We get another lock on through. And in comes Mandaboss in the back. So this is looking very, very good for me. All of a sudden, a very tricky lead. They took out my Pidgeot, but now they have a Mandaboss. Once again, I'm thinking, if they're coming in here to this, they don't have a great answer to Sandslash in the back most likely. They probably have Skeletor's lead and 2 things in the back that are weak to Sandslash. So yeah, we're going to like to go for some moves. I try to go for a catch, and in comes Tentacruel, and this should basically be curtains. Even though we don't have Drill Run, we should be basically fine here. I'm going to shield up any move that Tenta wants to throw. We can actually Powder Snow this the whole way down. They only get off 1 move. Absolutely no reason not to shield the Scald. They go for Acid Spray. Absolutely no reason for them to go for Acid Spray. They should try to deal off my attack or something. I see them pay the Mandibuzz when they come in. I guess they want to just do heavy damage with this. Bang. That takes them out anyway, and yeah, good games to the opponent there. So you're just seeing that having a combination of having Pidgeot doing crazy damage and just this particular backline in the Catch Cup, it's just doing super well for me. Since this video, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I had an extremely negative day yesterday and the day before yesterday. I just kept seeing like a ton of core breakers, bro, like ABA, like electric teams, just so many electric, so many Clodsires. We did go for a nice catch here. I YOLO the Brave Bird thinking they might let it go. This opponent actually shields it, and in comes Skeletor. So this situation is not great. However, we've lured out the Skelly. We sort of need to learn this Pokemon out. We need to take care of it with Pidgeot, and yeah, the opponent lets the Zap Cannon go. So I'm extremely happy at this point. They have to go for Shadow Ball, they cannot go for Disarming Voice, otherwise we get off the move. And we come back into Pidgeot. This is still tricky, we need Pidgeot to deal with Vigoroth. So maybe my mistake in this match was going for the Brave Bird. Aerialists do a lot of damage anyway, so going for Brave Birds are a little bit risky. In comes the Vigoroth once again. I'm gonna go for this move. Hopefully they shield it. They actually shield it, yeah, and we're gonna go for the Brave Bird, but they catch it like an absolute psycho. I'm thinking here at this point, maybe I can farm down with Sand Slash and get an absolute ton of energy for the Vigoroth. We go for it, praying and hoping the opponent's an Ice Beam. Please, can you be on Ice Beam? They're on Water Pulse. That's so unfortunate. And at this point, guys, we're going to go for one Drill Run. I thought that I wasn't going to get off 2 moves because I was counting the opponent's energy, and I was just sort of hoping that please live a Body Slam, maybe get a Powder Snow through. Unfortunately, the Body Slam takes me out. We don't quite get the Simul KO, so had I just went for Aerialius, we would have won that match. Okay, fantastic lead. We do not want to see this in the back. The opponent swaps out into a Registeel, and I'm going to look to go for a Brave Bird and dip here. The reason I'm going for Brave Bird is we can live a Focus Blast on Registeel, and of course they live the Focus Blast as well. This means I can come in. I will never be behind on energy. You need to throw 2 moves in this matchup no matter what. Bang, Focus Blast. I go for my Focus Blast next. There's no way they can flip this, right? They can basically come in with 8 if they want to. I get a farm down, that's perfectly fine. They're not going to be able to lock on me down. And at this point, like, I'm pretty happy to let Reggie go. Now, what I decide here is the opponent's most likely going to go for a Snipe here at some point. They're shielding, and they actually go for a Catch and Annihilate. So I throw that move perfectly. I just throw the Zap no matter what there. Bang, that does a decent chunk of their health. We swap out just in time to save it for a Sack Swap. Unfortunately, we can't quite farm it down in time. I decide I love this move. They can't lock on me down, and we'll see what the opponent has in the back. They come into Registeel. I'm going to decide to shield this move and just basically go for a huge overfarm. The great thing about Registeel is you basically have free license to farm up a bunch of energy. We farm up a bunch, go for a Brave Bird, and we'll see what comes in the back. It is actually a Dugong. We get a 2 and fro here, which is absolutely amazing. We do get off the Brave Bird, and from this range, our Alolan Sand Slash should be able to deal with it. This still is a little bit tricky because I don't believe 2 Drill Runs will KO, so we have to go for a catch. I go for a very quick catch here. Not leaving it till the last second. People like leaving the catch till the last second. I think the later you leave it, the less successful you're going to be, because the opponents will really predict it at a certain point. But as you're about to see here, we can tank this drill run pretty comfortably, and we can look to go for the drill run. I commit to good timing. This should just about KO the Dugong, and that should be good games here. So as you guys can see, man, we're absolutely cooking with this team. Pidgeot, just so much fun to use, guys. I can't recommend it enough. We do get a 4-1 here, and hopping into the next battle, we have a Bastiodon lead. In comes the Ape. I decide, like, okay, it's going to be Basti, Wiggly, Vic. They come into Ape. This is just absolutely horrible. People are using this absolute putrid, horrible team in the Catch Cup. So watch out for it. You're going to see Shadow Basties, you're going to see Shadow Victory Bells, you're going to see Wigglytuffs, you're going to see Annihilates, you're going to see everything. I cannot afford to shield this move. So I basically have to trust in Registeel to beat this whole team. I throw an Aerialius in the hope that I can basically chip it and look to get out. I'm trying to burn my switch clock, bank an Aerialius if possible, and then dip. In comes Amandabuzz. Do I still have a chance here? Do I still have a chance? I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to shield this first move, keep myself with some health, and then basically look to let everything else go. Please, we need a debuff right here. We need a debuff. The opponent lets it go, and we get a debuff. That is absolutely huge. That is absolutely huge. If I have any chance of winning it, that debuff makes a huge difference. I don't want to put myself into Smackdown range. I should have went for an undercharge in this situation. I do think this was a bit of a mistake. I should have undercharged a little bit more. I need energy. The opponent still has moves. Unfortunately, I think the only way I win this match is by going for a catch, and even then it's still going to be tricky. I go for Zap Cannon, of course, looking to debuff the opponent's attack here, trying to, of course, lower the Smackdown damage. We're going to try to go for the catch. Do we make it? Unfortunately not. And yeah, that's just basically game over. In the Catch Cup, you're going to see just about everything. We have a Best Buddy, most likely level 50 Lickitung. If Niantic thinks the Catch Cup is helping new players, nothing could be further from the truth. There's just absolutely no way that this helps anybody. I'm going to overfarm here. I look to go for heavy damage with the Brave Bird. I maybe could have went for just a Brave Bird, an Aerialius chip, but that does so much damage, and we actually draw out the Annihilate here, which is perfect. We're going to outpace to the Zap Cannon because, of course, we swapped in, and this is perfect for me. I basically need to get a debuff here. I might even consider shielding this move. Every Ape so far has went straight for the big move. I decide, oh, should I shield it, should I not? The opponent does go for Shadow Ball here, unfortunately, so I maybe could have shielded that, got off another move. I'm just thinking, though, I might be able to just about deal with it. I have some energy in Pidgeot. Unfortunately, I CMP the opponent here. So yeah, this is still a little bit tricky. That's the one bad thing about Pidgeot. If you get a little bit lower in health, it's a little bit harder to deal with Pokemon. The opponent comes into a Clodsire here. I'm going to look to YOLO the Brave Bird. I need to get the opponent's final shield, but I think I'm making a bit of a mistake here. I probably should have stayed in that match a little bit longer and just got some damage for him. Now, I'm pretty sure that we'd live in Earthquake. I could have no-shielded, but I didn't think they would go for the bait. Now, what I should be doing here is going for 2 Ice Punches. I go for this move on CMP tie, but the opponent actually does not fall for the CMP. So the opponent made for a slight mistake, because had he went for double Ice Punch, we would have been surviving here. Now, can we still do this somehow? We still have the Ape alive. We still have the Licky alive. They have a Body Slam loaded. Can we live this Body Slam well enough to farm everything down? Unfortunately, that just does so much damage. We get a Simul KO on the Ape. The opponent was able to swap out, and that's good games. In the next match, we have the Incinerate user in the lead. Of course, we're going to stay in here. We're not going to swap into anything. I'm going to go for an Aerial Ace here. The opponent respects the damage, and yeah, we're going to look to basically shield our way for this matchup. If I can land an Aerial Ace, I'll be pretty happy here. Hopefully no debuff. I was pretty fortunate not to get many debuffs here with Crunch, because that would just completely destroy me. Like, they let that move go, and I'm really happy with it at that point, because I can go for a catch and Registeel. I'm very happy with this. These Incinerates don't do too much from Crocalor. It's like a kind of bulky-ish Pokemon, they don't do too much. I think they bank a move and come into Ape, and again, this is exactly where we want to see Ape, ahead on energy with Registeel. The opponent lets the move go. Are they going to commit to the farm down? This is really bad, unfortunately for them. They were a little bit off track on energy. They could have just farmed me the whole way down, and we can actually still manage this now at this point. Now here's the rough thing. This is so tough. I can't really afford to shield this. This is so bad. I'm going to have to try to Powder Snow this down. We Powder Snow it the whole way down. And what will the opponent do? They come in here, we farm it down with Sandslash, and they have a Mandibuzz in the back. So Sandslash, we're taking out the counter user, we're taking out the Incinerate user, and we do have a Flyer in the back. We still have a good chance to win this game. We just need to land 2 Ice Punches. The question is, can the opponent get to 2 Dark Pulses in time? The opponent tanks the move, basically forcing me to commit to the farm down. That Powder Snow went for him, and that's basically good games to the opponent. They go for an Aerial Ace at the end. Good games to them. A Lowland Sandslash is an Ape and Incinerate counter confirmed, apparently. In the next match, we have a quite awkward one. I'm checking the move. They're in Powder Snow, so we get straight out, and in comes the Feraligatr. This is not a horrible matchup for Reggie. I like shielding the first move, as Registeels like to do. Get off the debuff and basically look to go for a Zap Cannon debuff, go for multiple moves. We can easily sorry, I just whacked my microphone. We can easily take a Hydro Cannon, especially if we debuff it. I believe we did not get the debuff. I'm going to still tank it anyway. Registeel is a bulky boy. We can easily live that move. Now the opponent has a choice. Go down 2 shields against Pidgeot, or let this go. The opponent decides to let it go, thinking that Registeel is most likely the hardest answer to Alolan Ninetales. Little do they know. Oh, they actually, again, were a little bit off track with energy and for the move. Little do they know, we have a Alolan Sandslash in the back. It isn't Powder Snow, which is kind of unfortunate, and the opponent insta-swaps into a Azumarill, and Azumarill. Guys, I'm telling you, build your Pokemon for this cup, bro. People are going to use absolutely everything. Don't be left behind in this cup. Build some Pokemon that are good. Like, the Catch Cup is a joke. Honestly, guys, it is an absolute joke. I want to talk about the game state at the minute because, to be honest with you, like, the way this game is at the moment is a complete disgrace. The amount of lag that this game is getting at the minute is just absolutely woeful. It's just so sickening. I just don't know how they cannot fix their servers or do something to fix this game. And then we have shit like Catch Cup. You know, I just really wish Niantic would just care about PvP a little bit. Or, like, at the very least, pretend to care. They just clearly do not. Like, with their decision making, there's no way anybody can tell me that they care about this game. Like, the PvP is just a disaster at the minute. They push these updates, they don't give a shit about PvP. All of the issues that we have in this game, you know, I've heard from pretty well-sourced people who know people within Niantic that they could be fixing these updates, like 1-turn lag, 1-turn bring-in, like all of these things that we have issues with in this game. They could be fixing these, but they just don't allocate the resources to it. The opponent did not allocate their resources to the shield, and we absolutely shit all over that Tapu Fini. But guys, I'm just absolutely sick of it. I think we as a player base absolutely deserve better, and I just think how things have been recently has been disgraceful. Anyway guys, that's a little mini rant over. In comes a Whiscash lead. What I like to do here is go for the move on 6. They normally like to get a debuff off, and yeah, we'll just go for an Earliest. Of course, they end up shielding the move. Some players do let that move go, and you can just go straight Ace at that point. We can tank a Scald before they can farm us down. In comes Mantine. We're going to try to go for a catch. We're going to tank whatever move they want to throw. And I think you should be able to see in this situation how much damage the Zap Cannon does. I actually started to figure it out here. You can go for a perfect undercharge here. Go for just about a nice here. Bang. That leaves them on a perfect lock-on range. You can even do a few less bubbles there. I think if you wing attack them a little bit more, you can basically zero bubble it and farm them the whole way down. If they're Motor Pulse, it's a little bit tricky, so don't do it if they're Motor Pulse. In comes Whiscash again. They do not want to get Focus Blasted. They are a Shadow Whiscash. Of course, that would do a ton of damage. And in comes the Mandibuzz, guys. You've seen it once, you've seen it twice, you've seen it probably 5 times in this video. We're brave birding the Mandibuzz. It does an absolutely crazy amount of damage to the bulky bird. Alolan Sandslash is going to come in, basically look to clean up here. Now, we will pretty much die to 2 Dark Pulses. I don't quite, but I more or less will. I try to go for a risky CMP tie here. The opponent overfarms. I thought they would have shielded because they went for the overfarm. I'm going to go for Drill Run, not messing about. I think I'm only going to get off one more move here. The opponent decides to shield it. Maybe I should have went for Ice Punch. I could shield and get off an Ice Punch here, potentially, but I just decide, like, I've got some energy left on Pidgeot. We'll basically go for an Aerial Ace at this range. This should be basically enough at this point. And yeah, good games to the opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. If you did, drop a like, subscribe. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions down below on the state of this game, what you think everything is like. As you can see here, we got up to 33-15. And we had a look here at the leaderboards as well. Unfortunately, the leaderboards did not update the one day that I was on them, which actually happened to me last season as well. I think Niantic's watching my stream and they don't like me, so they just don't update the leaderboards whenever I'm on them. That is a joke, by the way. But yeah, having a look here, we would have been in around top 320. Unfortunately, I tanked quite a lot. I'm currently sitting around 30-50 ELO, but nonetheless, I highly recommend Shadow Pidgeot, and I do think this team is quite strong. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time.